Real Madrid. Real Madrid. You guys have left me in an absolute turmoil. That PSG loss was such a heartbreaker that I absolutely have gone completely off my plot, shall I say, and have decided to really get stuck in to this team big time. Thank you all for joining. This is my emergency meeting, and this emergency meeting will be me and me alone. No one else involved, just me and only me, because Real Madrid have really done something magical. They have appointed a new manager in Xabi Alonso, who I still have faith in, by the way, guys. I'm not counting Xabi Alonso out at all. And this is how I'm going to deliver this. Xabi Alonso, in terms of La Liga and what he's going to able to be doing, essentially, with this Real Madrid team in La Liga, needs to be pretty much concrete and evident now. I see a style of play, which is very good. First thing, style of play. All ticked off. I see him trying to introduce the youth players into this team. I see him trying to work with players like Vini, like Mbappe to do pressing, whatever he's trying to do as a manager. The players need to get it out of their system. They need to get it out of themselves big time and wash away this Ancelotti rubbish that we saw last year. Yeah? And I thank you all for joining the chat, which I'm going to get to, by the way, in a moment. But the whole point of these emergency meetings, day by day, is to interact with you guys, is to interact with the audience, is to interact with Real Madrid fans who demand this team to win trophies. My demands are big. My standards are massive as a Real Madrid fan. And you understand this as well, guys. You understand this. So, let's really get into it. And the very first thing that I want to talk about is, can Xabi Alonso win us a trophy this year? I'm talking about a major honor here. Either the Copa del Rey, La Liga, or the Champions League. Now, with you guys in the chat and everyone out there, you have to understand this. The Champions League and La Liga are the main ones I want to go for. I want to go for that La Liga trophy. Any Madrid fan that says, give him time. If he doesn't win La Liga this year, then it's okay. Any Madrid fan who says that, you have been surely mistaken. You want to give him time if he doesn't win La Liga this year. Bare minimum has to be the Copa del Rey. Yeah? It has to be the Copa del Rey. And do you know what? I will say this. The Super Cup of Spain, if we can win that and we can win another trophy, will be completely ideal, because inevitably we will face Barcelona in that. Obviously, we have a very tough tie against Atletico Madrid in the Super Cup. But we win that and another trophy, completely ideal. And may I remind you guys that this is going on for 2 hours today. I said 4 hours initially, but I do have other commitments as well. But this is going on for 2 long hours, so you better stay with me, yeah? Let me read some comments first before, obviously, I carry on with this Xabi Alonso winning a trophy segment, yeah? And people saying the Copa del Rey is a definite. The definite one is the Copa del Rey. We need to win that. Well, for me personally, I'm looking at the Copa del Rey as a bare minimum. The La Liga is the one that I want to go for. It's the main trophy I want to go for, La Liga, because this needs to be our bread and butter. This needs to be the actual deliverance for this season. Because Champions League, may I remind you, is harder. It's going to be much harder. Teams are strengthening. Arsenal are strengthening. Look what they did to us last year. If Arsenal are strengthening and they bring Gyökeres in and they bring in other players and they bring in a much stronger unit, hey, let me tell you something. We're going to have a very tough game against them. Liverpool, again, tough game. PSG, again, tough game. Inter will also be a tough game. The new Champions League format is demanding. That whole table footing is actually demanding. How we're competing against 36 other teams to get into the top 8 to automatically qualify, or the next 8 to actually then go into a playoff phase to then round up of the teams, then is also very demanding. So honestly, we are 100% needing to go for La Liga. Barcelona are the main thorn in the flipping backside of us. Yeah? They're the main thorn. So I need to see that La Liga victory. I need to see it, people, because Alonso, and I said this in the previous stream, guys, I said it, and I'm reading your comments as I'm actually saying it as well. This is a must. La Liga is a must. Copa del Rey is also a bonus, but La Liga is a must. If Perez is sitting with Alonso in the big boardroom of Real Madrid, the big team, and he's not saying you must win a trophy this year, then he is also mistaken. Guys in the chat, do you think, and everybody out there obviously is watching it in a replay, do you think that Perez is not saying that you must win a trophy? Do you think he's winning a trophy? Let's actually show these comments on the stage, yeah? So actually you can see that, yeah? People are actually looking at this and saying, look, La Liga is their main target. It's the main target for Real Madrid. The main target for us. So why look past it? Why look past it completely? Yeah? That Carreras, here we go, yeah, I'm going to talk about that later as well, because that's also pissed me off big time. Yeah? And Terry now saying that PSG will dominate for years to come. Absolutely. I think PSG on their most high game, they can beat anybody comfortably, even Barcelona, because they have the tactics, they have the manager, and they have the strength in their team to comfortably win games. They actually know how to play amazing football. Yeah? Dali, thank you very much, obviously, for joining the stream as well. Yeah? And I have to just reiterate that us as Real Madrid fans, if we don't hold this team to a certain standard, if we don't hold this team to a standard where we demand a trophy, where Madrid fans are now trying to be realistic and they're trying to go into the unrealistic route where say, oh, let's just give it a season. Let's see how it goes. Who are we? Arsenal. We're not doing this phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not on that. I'm not on that. This is a phase 1 trophy. If you don't like it, lump it. If he doesn't win a trophy this year, Alonso, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But this guy needs to be sacked. If he does not win a trophy this year, he needs to be sacked. There are no excuses with this. Yeah? And Barcelona, they're going to be licking their lips watching that PSG game. Because after what they saw, they're like, La Liga? Real Madrid? Do you know what? We're still comfortably the better team in Spain and how they play. Comfortably the better team. So in the last stream that I done on the Galacticos podcast, I said 10 games. And you can agree with me. You may not agree with me. But 10 games for Alonso to prove if he is the manager that this team is needing for the foreseeable future. Because I've seen Real Madrid managers come in for 6 months and go. I've seen Real Madrid come in managers for a few months and go, because the performance standard is not there. We need 23 points minimum first 9 games before we play Barcelona. Any lower than that, I'll be very highly disappointed in that, yeah? So Xabi Alonso needs to win a trophy. I don't care which one it is. The Super Cup and Copa del Rey will suffice for me, because it will be pretty much a domestic treble if you count the Super Cup of Spain. And then La Liga is absolutely, we need to be competing with La Liga till Barcelona to the very end, because I know they're going to be on it. So why aren't Real Madrid? Why aren't we going to be the serious team this year? Why aren't we going to take the pole position this year? Why aren't we going to be the front runners this year? Because Barcelona, you know what? I hope they lose all their matches. But for me, personally, I don't think they will. I think they're going to be really on it, and they're going to be up for the task to win La Liga for a second year running as well. You see? Let me read some of the comments, obviously, in the chat. And I'm just going to start with a few, yeah, so we can actually go into that as well, yeah. PSG is a young, talented team. We have a good pool, and we corner the market in the French league talent. Yeah, do you know what? I honestly think that PSG are going to be just so dominant for years, honestly. I don't think that PSG, obviously, will maybe have the same kind of effect in terms of, okay, starting off the season not so rapid and then going into the season really developing as a team. But Real Madrid, you know, we're famous for that. We're famous for going on a really bad spell in the beginning and then really showing up strong at the end. So Real Madrid, we need to be strong throughout the whole season. Yeah. And I think honestly with La Liga, with Barcelona, they have such a strong position that they have a very strong manager. They have very strong players. Obviously, any injury could affect that. We've seen how injuries affected our season last year, but that's no excuse. We played horribly as well, yeah? But I think, yeah, here, this comment is perfect, obviously, for Marcus. Flick plays a high line, but at least he has a strict offside trap as he has defensive plan. Xabi doesn't have a last-minute go-to plan defensively. Now, last game is a perfect example of this exactly. When we are down and out and we have 2-goal deficit, yeah, and we're now trying to be on the front foot, yeah, please have still a defensive plan. Just don't go gung-ho and try and score goals, because it's not going to work. Because what happened after? Counter-attack, and then PSG absolutely dominated us big time. Yeah? So for us, looking at that PSG game and analysing that, and then going into the La Liga season, where we're starting off against, you know, teams like Osasuna, teams like Oviedo, teams like Levante, who've just literally been promoted from Segunda Division, teams like Mallorca, teams like Atletico Madrid, who's in our 7th game. That is ultimately our route to the very first 10 games. And we need to be on it. I don't care what anybody says. Alonso needs to be on it. And it's very, very tough for Alonso to be on it. And for me to have faith and confidence in Alonso when against the European best, we got absolutely smacked. We need to be at that level in the very first 15 games of the season at least. We need to be at that level where we can compete with the best in Europe. If we can't, the Champions League's going to look bleak for us, guys. I don't think personally we can win the Champions League. Sorry. With Arsenal strengthening, with PSG strengthening, with Barcelona probably going to be there as well, then there's going to be a lot of teams. Liverpool, a resurgent Liverpool as well, with how many transfers they're going into the market as well. Liverpool going to be on it as well. So do you think we can compete with those 4 sides? Do you think we can compete with them? I don't think so. I absolutely, wholeheartedly say if we played Arsenal tomorrow, we'll get beaten. If we play Liverpool tomorrow, we'll get beaten. If we play Barcelona tomorrow, we'll get beaten. And we've already played PSG, so I don't need to actually remind you of that one. Yeah? So the teams in La Liga, they're very technically good. They're very technically gifted as a unit. So we're going to have to come up against good teams. We're coming against Mallorca, who always trouble us. Osasuna, who give us very difficult games. The teams coming up from Segunda Division. Levante, the winners of the Segunda Division. Oviedo, who came through the playoffs. These type of teams are going to give us tough games. You think Atletico Madrid away is going to be an easy ride? I don't think so. So it's very, very common as Real Madrid fans to overhype our chances, to overhype our situation. I'm just realistically talking facts here. We need to score. We need to bloody score on that table 23 points from the very first 9 games. If we don't, sorry, Real Madrid are very likely not to win La Liga this year. Then we go for Copa del Rey or we go for other trophies, the Super Cup. Try and salvage some domestic triumphs because, sorry, Alonso, but the way you went into that PSG match is a naive. I don't compare that to teams in La Liga, but I will compare it to Barcelona. And if we played Barcelona, sorry, in the very first 10 games, if we do not change how we play, how the rhythm of the team plays, then we're going to be absolutely destroyed. Yeah? Okay. So, a few comments back, obviously, onto it again. Obviously, big up Omar, who's also joined the chat. We better go undefeated before facing Barcelona from Omar. Yeah? Absolutely. This is a must. We lose one game in those very first 9. I saw the fixtures, guys. We saw the fixtures. We saw it. We lose one game. Just one. Then it's going to be a shitstorm. It's going to be a problem. A very big problem. Because you're now going to be fighting a battle to then claw back points against Barcelona, who may not drop points, who may drop points. But I see us maybe racking up a few draws, maybe against Atletico Madrid, a team like that, maybe against Getafe away, who are very tough, especially in Madrid derbies. We know last year only just beating them 1-0, very defensively solid team. A team like Levante coming up against them away, Segunda Division champions. Going to have a point to prove against Real Madrid. So there are going to be draws there. But losses, I will not accept it. I will not accept a loss in the very first 9 games until before we play Barcelona. I will not accept it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to accept it. Because we need to be tic-tac-toe with Barcelona until the end of the season. Any loss is a detriment to us because we saw last year and if we beat Betis and we beat Bilbao, we would have won La Liga. May I remind you, we lost to Barcelona twice in La Liga. But if we beat Bilbao and we beat Betis on those away games, we would have won La Liga. Make it make sense, people. So this season needs to be better, more proven, better tactically, better analysing the players in terms of if Vini stinks, drop him. If Mbappe stinks, drop him. No player gets actual priority treatment over any other player. It's all based on their form. Gonzalo Garcia plays better than Mbappe, play Gonzalo Garcia. We need to have a team out there. We don't want to have individuals because if we have individuals, we're just going to end up in the same road as Ancelotti. You know what I mean? And guys, obviously, thanks for your comments in the live chat. Yeah? Now, just obviously touching on Xabi Alonso and his naivety against PSG. It was naive, I think, personally, to play that 4 at the back. I don't think it would have been suited for me. I wouldn't have personally done it. I'm not a manager, though. I don't know why he did it. People say that, we needed strength from Rodrygo, Asensio, and the two on the wing back areas or left back and right back, Valverde and Fran Garcia. Sorry, we could have played a 3 at the back with Rodrygo, Asensio, Tchouameni, Valverde, and Fran Garcia. What would have been the difference? Then we can play Modric. Then we can play also Modric. Actually, by the way, can keep the ball very well. Yeah, we could have played Modric with Bellingham and Arda Güler, who would have probably been a decent midfielder who actually can maintain the ball for 2 flipping seconds, and then obviously have the wing backs in Valverde and also Fran Garcia, and then play Gonzalo Garcia and then Mbappe up top, or Gonzalo Garcia and Vini. Why didn't we do that, guys? Why didn't we do that? People saying that Modric wouldn't be better against PSG. Modric actually knows how to flip and keep the ball, people. He knows how to keep the ball. Yeah? Maybe take him off after 45 minutes, 60 minutes, but give him out a run out in the very first 45 minutes so we can actually play some football, or even play Ceballos there, who's a runner. You understand? Man say Modric. Okay, so you telling me that Tchouaméni, Bellingham, and Arda Güler in the midfield three is better than actually a player that can actually keep them maintain the ball? Yeah? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he hasn't got the legs. Give him a run out for 45, 60 minutes and see if he doesn't have the legs. Modric doesn't age, mate. That guy is aging like fine wine, mate. Aging like a fine cheese, mate. You know what I mean? So you're telling me that the midfield three, who did absolutely nothing, by the way, across the whole match, they would have been better than Modric. A guy that actually can maintain possession for 2 flipping seconds. Guess what happened when Bellingham had the ball? Lost it. Modric actually can turn out of control. He has the technique. Bellingham doesn't. I'm sorry. Ceballos would have done a better job. Ceballos could have done it in there. So, honestly, with those midfield, that midfield three that played against PSG, apart from Arda Güler, no technically gifted players. Actually on the ball. Yeah? Tchouaméni is great in terms of pressing, and he can do that, and then he's been doing it in the Club World Cup. Agreed. But Modric can actually maintain the bloody ball, mate. He can actually maintain the ball. He can actually hold it on for 2 seconds. So, honestly, I'm sorry, but Modric would have done a better job. Ceballos would have done a better job. Ceballos in the midfield. If we played in a 3-5-2 formation. A 3-5-2 formation with Tchouaméni, Rudiger, Asensio. At least we wouldn't have been absolutely demolished on the counter-attack because we would have had 3 defenders sitting back at all times. Sitting back, waiting for them to initiate a counter-attack. Yeah? Because, I'm sorry, I'm not saying, this is FIFA, let me do whatever I want to. No. A 3 at the back would have worked yesterday. Play a 4 at the back, we got absolutely carved open. Like literally a Sunday roast. Let's just call it as it is. Mbappe does not track back and never will. Which said this when he was at PSG. Absolutely. Now, let me just move on to my second point. And this is stems from this as well. Yeah. And what is the matter with players not being able to press cohesively as a unit? And Real Madrid's pressing game is very disjointed. Real Madrid's pressing game is so disjointed, it's unbelievable. You see Vini running at a player. Vini then does a little call for Mbappe to run and then close the other guy down. Mbappe just stops, doesn't do nothing anyway. But Vini, anyway, in the very first place, is making his own decision to press against whoever has it on the right-hand side. Would be Hakimi at that time. Let's just take the example of PSG. So, you have Vini trying to press on his ones. Mbappe does nothing. Then Mbappe presses, some absolutely lazy press, by the way. And then Vini's not pressing. Or Mbappe has the ball, and then Vini's not making a run on the outside, and he's just being lazy to get there. He's being lazy to get into an attacking opportunity. What on earth is this? What on earth is this? Haven't they been playing long enough to know when each other's pressing? I don't care if it's under Ancelotti. I don't care if it's under Alonso. Haven't they been playing long enough to know when they are pressing as a unit? Because Gonzalo Garcia and Valverde know in cohesion when they're pressing and when they're actually closing down that channel, even though Nuno Mendes is absolutely brilliant and can rip us apart anyway. But the situation remains as this. Vini looking around, doing nothing. Mbappe looking around, doing nothing. And then Gonzalo Garcia doing all the running and trying to do something. And then there's nothing about it. There's nothing about it. What is up with it? People blame the heat. Let me tell you something about this. Try and say that to a PSG team that have been playing in exactly the same conditions as Real Madrid, in that sweltering heat. They played yesterday in the same conditions. Blaming the heat is like Ty blaming the rain. It's exactly the same thing. Do not blame the heat. Yeah, that is absolutely falsified. Yeah, falsified. Big time. So anyone saying that is absolutely losing their marbles. Yeah, the team cohesively should press. And they know how to press. Look how Barcelona press. Let me tell you what happens when Barcelona press. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of Barcelona and PSG, because I'm going to give you a tactical insight into how it works. When the opposition have the ball on Yamal's side, for example, and I'm going to give you Yamal's side as well, because it's a perfect example. When the opposition have the ball on Yamal's side, you see Yamal, you see Pedri, you see De Jong, you see Koundé forming like a little barrier and waiting for the opposition to lose the ball in their feet for just a split second. Yeah? Pounce onto that. When PSG do exactly the same thing, when you saw Fran Garcia having the ball, you saw any of the defenders having the ball, they are on them like hungry hyenas. That's what it is. They're on them. They form packs around them. But instead of that, we are like a lone lion going out into the wilderness and trying to hunt. That's what we're like. One female lioness going out trying to hunt instead of hunting in packs. Yeah? So that is how Barcelona press. That is how PSG press. And then you see also the defense of Barcelona push up pretty much to the halfway line. And PSG don't really do that. They do, but not into so much extent. They still have defensive awareness about them, just in case they have a lapse in concentration and the ball goes over the top or whatever. But when you see Hakimi and you see Dembele and you see players like Doué and you see players like Fabian Ruiz, whenever it's on the other side, they start pressing. Real Madrid, oh no, we don't know how to do that. We've never known how to do that because Vini decides to press by himself. Mbappe decides to press by himself. Gonzalo Garcia decides to press by himself. Then you have Valverde making running like a crazy man. Then you have Bellingham doing exactly the same thing. Bellingham just doing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You see Tchouaméni pressing with effect sometimes when obviously the ball is floated into the air, trying to get the second ball, trying to get anything like that. And then, do you know what? Sometimes Tchouaméni, he doesn't do that. But then you have also your defenders who should push up, but they don't. And then they end up being reserved at the back. They keep at the back and they don't do nothing about it. This is what Real Madrid do. I've explained it pretty much in the simplest terms possible. You see PSG, how they press. You see how organized they are. Do you think that's going to come with time? Yes, it is. But how much time do we have as Real Madrid fans? How much time do we have to win a flipping trophy? How much time? Yeah? How much depth do we have in the team when you see PSG bringing on Ramos and they bring on bloody Barcola? How much time do you think we have to recruit players when we never do anything in winter anyway? When we're signing Carreras? Wow. Wow, guys. Lord Almighty, we have signed Alvaro Carreras. Let me say it more in Spanish accent. Alvaro Carreras. We've signed him. This is going to solve all our flipping problems. God help me. God help every Real Madrid fan this year because we are in turmoil. This is why I'm doing these emergency streams. This is why I'm doing them. This is why pretty much on a regular you're going to see me do these until we win a flipping major trophy. People say, oh, he's ungrateful. This guy is ungrateful, guys. He's ungrateful. Guess what? I'm not ungrateful. I'm fully grateful for the times that Ancelotti spent as our manager and what we've won as a team. But guess what? Standards still up here. We don't win a trophy last year. 0 trophies, guys. Do we call the Super Cup and the Intercontinental Cup a trophy? No. I don't call that trophies because pretty much we only had one game to play in the Intercontinental Cup, and then we had one game to play in the Super Cup, and they pretty much just relied on that. When it comes to major trophies, we won 0. 0. 0. 0. I do not want to see 0 trophies this year, people. If I ever see 0 trophies this year, I am going to absolutely lose my marbles. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to lose my marbles. It's going to be a bloodbath. I'm going to be throwing and absolutely going nuts every single flipping match until we win a trophy. I don't care, mate. Because 0 trophies is not in my vocabulary. It's not in my vocabulary. So, Alonso, you better shape this team up really well. Yeah, better shape this up, yeah? Yeah. Did you see? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And this is clearly the attitude of the players. It's not just Vini. It's other players as well. I saw Valverde having a cheeky laugh. I saw Jude Bellingham having a cheeky laugh here and there as well. They're like laughing. They're like, oh, do you know what? We won't show anything. Do you know what? If you're a manager and you say you're 2-0, 3-0 down at half time and you don't have no fight in you, you have 2 shots on target the whole game. What is that? What is that? Are we just non-existent in the whole game? Are just PSG the only team that's doing anything? Like, it's absolutely mad. You see players on the bench. Guys, okay, my next point. Yeah? My next point. Let's talk about Rodrygo. Let's talk about Rodrygo for Real Madrid. I'm sorry, but technically on the ball, Rodrygo is better than Vini. Technically, he's better than Vini. He knows how to keep the ball in tight areas, and he is more suited towards a team actually applying a pressing game throughout the whole match. Rodrygo is technically better. Is he better overall as a player? Maybe not. Maybe not. But technically, he is better. He plays a team game. He does. He does. With Gonzalo Garcia in that game against PSG, he would have done more. Much more. With Mbappe, he maybe would have done more. Because my thought is, when you're coming up against players like Hakimi, you can't be Vini and just try and run past Hakimi. Hakimi is too fast for you. He's too physical for you, and he will barge you off the ball. You need someone with a bit more, how should I say it, finesse, a bit more vavavoom about themselves on the ball itself. When you see Kvaratskhelia have the ball, and he was coming up against Valverde, Valverde looked lost, mate. He looked lost. Valverde looked lost. This is Valverde, one of our best defensive players, probably our best right back in terms of how he plays there defensively. Rodrygo would have done a better job against Hakimi than Vini ever would have. That is it. Simple as. And do you know what? I don't blame Rodrygo if he leaves, because what does Rodrygo have that Vini does? That Vini doesn't. He has, like I said, that technique. So why not Alonso bring him in on? Why not change up the style of Real Madrid? Why not change up how the team are playing by bringing on a player that can impact the game in a certain way on the left-hand side? Guess what happened? Benched the whole game. He wasn't even stinker and hooked. He was just stinker and left on the bench. That's what he was. Because, my Lord, what does Rodrygo have to do to get a start in his team? Please tell me. What does Rodrygo have to do? Sorry, but Rodrygo's leaving Real Madrid. Rodrygo is leaving Real Madrid. Such a gifted technical player, because he's actually catering for Vini by playing on the right-hand side under an Ancelotti team that clearly cannot pass the ball for the life of them. All they do is the sideways backwards. He was just like a lamb to the slaughter, playing on the right wing for the whole season until Vini gets suspended or injured, and then Rodrygo gets played on the left and then shows what he can do. And then still you insist on Vini. Why is Vini getting so much priority on that left wing? Sorry, please tell me why. Why is Vini getting so much priority? Someone in the chat, someone out there, in the comments, whatever, please tell me why Vini gets so much priority. Why? Why does he get so much priority, guys? Please tell me. Because I don't know. I don't know. Rodrygo, his ability on the ball speaks volumes. So why is he not in that area? Why is he not given the chance to create? Because let me tell you, against Dortmund, the way that he picked up the ball, showed off the guy, and then held it off long enough to then look out for other players to just pass to Arda Güler. Vini in that situation will try and do everything himself and not look at any other player, because Rodrygo's eyes consistently scanning, knowing when the players are, knowing the next move to pass to, and then he picked out Arda Güler for the cross. Why can't Rodrygo be given the same game time with Alonso as Vini? Why can't Rodrygo be doing that? Yeah? Because if it's based on last season, Vini didn't really play that all that well either. He didn't really play it all that well either. Mbappe was our top scorer. So why isn't Rodrygo given the opportunity? Sorry. I'm baffled. I'm lost for words. I'm actually lost. Sorry, guys. I'm lost. Yeah, and I'm going to be very highly disappointed if he leaves. But do you know what? If it's for him as a player, he sees that he's not welcome in this team, then, sorry, he will leave. He will either leave to any one of the teams in Europe that really want him, that really he can see I'm an actual starter. He was a starter under Ancelotti, didn't really prove himself on the right wing, but his position is not right wing. It's not. He was just playing there because Vini occupied the left. Please, guys, it's absolutely horrendous. Horrendous decision-making from Alonso. I'm sorry. It's horrendous decision-making from Alonso to leave Rodrygo out for the whole game against PSG. Bring him on in the 60th minute. Take out Vini. Bring on Rodrygo. And see what he can do. But leaving him out for the whole game is unforgivable. I'm sorry. It's unforgivable. Unfucking forgivable to leave Rodrygo out. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. Yeah. And it's just remembering me back to the time, guys, last year, yeah, when Vini was injured and then Rodrygo came and took Vini's place. And I think it was Rodrygo, Mbappe, and Brahim Diaz. I think that what it was. I think Arda Güler maybe occupies some of the right wing space as well under Ancelotti. Some of the best football that we played all flipping season long was in that little period when Rodrygo was shining during that 2025 period. A new year hits and Rodrygo's a different player. A little period of that time where I'm like looking at Rodrygo, I say, this guy needs to play on the bloody left wing. Yeah? And Vini was out and we were playing our best football. Oh. Bomb moment. Bombshell, guys. What is the common denominator here? Vini. Vini. I'm sorry to say this. For all I like Vini, for all I respect for what he's done for the team, I'm sorry, he needs to be dropped. He needs to be dropped. Vini is just... Look, I'll give you another example. When Vini came off against Dortmund, we looked like a much better team also. I know it's tired legs out there. But when Vini came off, we looked like a better team against Dortmund also. In pretty much the majority of the game, when we actually were beating Dortmund, Vini was non-existent anyway. We're playing with 10 men. So why not drop him? Why not drop? Sell him. Sell him. Just get rid of him. Yeah? 200 M's, 300 M's. Do you know how many players, guys? I just keep on repeating myself all the time. Do you know how many players we can get with the sell of Vini? Do you know how many players we can get with the sell of him? It's mad. And people call me a Vini hater. People call me a Vini hater because I just don't actually like the way he's playing. I'm sorry. I didn't like the way he played across the whole year. And now it's just carry on the same thing. He is greedy. He is very reckless. His decision-making is poor. But a player like Rodrygo is not greedy. His decision-making is actually very good. You saw the pass that he gave across the goal for Gonzalo Garcia. Vini would never do that in a million years anyway. And then he's not that reckless, Rodrygo. He always looks for his teammates. He always looks to who to bring in, who to feed in. He's always looking back. He's looking to the side. He's looking front. Can I pass it here? Can I pass it here? But Vini, one-track mind. How many players can I beat? 1, 2, 3, lost the ball. That's what it is, guys. That's what it is. I'm sorry to say it, but that is exactly what it is. And Vini, look, Vini is a player that I so badly want to see do well. Because if he's on his game, he's unplayable at times. Trust me, we've seen it before. And this is the person inside me that actually says, look, you know what? I want to give Vini chances. I want to give him chance upon chance upon chance. But sometimes the chances run out. His effort levels have dropped. His play technically has dropped. His ability to beat players for fun has dropped. His ability to finish has dropped. His ability to feed in others has dropped. His ability to defend and press has dropped. There's a common theme here, guys. So why actually keep on with Vini when it's not that beneficial to Real Madrid? He is slower as well. Sorry, he is slower as a player. He is not as quick on the ball as he used to be. When he used to turn, he used to drop the shoulder, he used to run past players. He doesn't have that electric pace anymore. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happened to him, but he has dropped completely off it. You know? And when I compare him to other left wingers in the world, when we compare him to Kvaratskhelia, when we compare him to players in any of the leagues, he doesn't have the same impact. He doesn't. I'm sorry. He doesn't. I'm not just using PSG. I'm using Barcelona as an example with Rafinha. The impact that Rafinha had on Barcelona is second to none. He had complete impact with Barcelona. Complete impact. So there are literally certain situations where you just need to say, okay, I need to let this player go. But guess what, guys? We're stuck with Vini. No matter what it is, we're stuck with him. We are stuck with Vini for this season. He's not going. So it's crazy. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Kvaratskhelia this season is 10 times better than peak Vini. Look, peak Vini is very good. Very, very good. I think Kvaratskhelia is one of the best players in the world, technically. He's very, very gifted as a footballer. He turned in, I can't remember who it was. I think he bypassed Valverde, completely shot well past the goal. But the situation is with Kvaratskhelia, the way he operates with the ball, the way he maneuvers it, the way that he can feed in other players is sensational. It's absolutely sensational. So, yeah, it's absolutely nuts. You know, I think it's such a blessing to have a player like that in world football, honestly. Such a blessing. You know what I mean? And Vini, technically, is nowhere near his level. Nowhere near. Even peak Vini. Peak Vini was quick. He was electric. He was direct. But Kvaratskhelia, technically on the ball, is a million times better than Vini. Million times. Yeah, so that's obviously Vini and how he is trying to maybe get into the flow of things or wanting to get to the flow of things, but honestly, I don't think he can. I don't think he can get into the flow of things. It's really bad. You know what I mean? So, here we go. We got the first guy in here saying I'm a Barcelona fan. Dave, I can see you as a Barcelona fan. Stop lying. Okay. Hey, get ready for 10 minutes of absolute cooking to first class. Okay, cool. So, I see Barcelona this season as the main threat. I don't really see PSG as the main threat because there's only one competition. I see Barcelona as the main threat for us to win any trophy across the season. And this is the main reason why. Barcelona, at the moment, are a better team than us. They're better players in terms of how they work with each other. You may say, oh, not individual, but I think individually also they have really good players. If I just run through it for you, and you can agree with me or not agree with me, yeah? So, Mbappe, Lewandowski is questionable. We don't know who's pretty much more impactful. I think Mbappe is more impactful in terms of how he delivers on the pitch. Lewandowski is a very cold striker. We know that. Sometimes he does his bozo moments, but sometimes when he's on it, he's unplayable. Rafinha at the moment is better than Vini. Rafinha is better than Vini. You would have said Rodrygo's on the right-hand side, but then we see Gonzalo Garcia as well. So Yamal is better than pretty much any player in our whole flipping team. Yeah, let's just call it as is. Yamal is beyond any player in our whole team. Pedri is better than Bellingham. Pedri is better than Bellingham. There I said it. Pedri is better. Pedri knows how to interact with the team better. He is very good in the press. He knows how to do his box-to-box duties also. Bellingham may be better at that in terms of that aspect, in terms of being more athletic, but Pedri is just silky. He's smooth. He's miles ahead technically than bloody Bellingham by a country mile. So Pedri's better. Olmo, if he was to play in that attacking mid-area, I would say Arda Güler is better than Olmo. I think Arda Güler holds a special place in my heart as a player that really should be just given every single game time as possible. De Jong, is he better than Valverde? If De Jong plays, probably not. I think Valverde is probably our most consistent player. The back line is pretty much all Barcelona. Obviously, we have Hausen now, but there's nothing can be said about Hausen until he plays in La Liga. Yeah? So, the whole back line of Barcelona is better than ours. Hausen is debatable because he has not played yet. He's not. But Inigo Martinez, Kubarsi, Koundé, Bolde is better as a back four. As a unit, they are better. Better. Goalkeeper, no. Courtois is the best. But the situation is that Barcelona are better than us. And I didn't take the bait. I just wanted to address one comment saying that I'm a Barcelona fan. People keep on calling me this as well. They call me a Barcelona fan. They call me a Barcelona fan in disguise. Well, guess what? Guess what? They play better football than us. And I enjoy football. And I hate to say it, but my hate-alongs turned into just pure watch-alongs because I was like, you know what? You got to give Barcelona credit. And I gave Barcelona credit throughout the whole season because they played really well in terms of when they really got down to it, they just won La Liga. They beat us comfortably, pretty much both times in La Liga, and they won. And that's it. So they're better. End of story. If Real Madrid fans like to disagree, then so be it. But I completely think you're wrong. They are a better team now based upon form. That's it. That's it. Barcelona have a couple of preseason games before La Liga kicks off. Nothing too major. But I think when they get into the actual thick of things, they're going to really be on their game big time. Yamal is hungry. He's hungry for an La Liga trophy. He's hungry for trophies. When you have a player like that who's so technically gifted that can glide past players for fun and they're hungry for trophies, that's why I think Real Madrid maybe lack. I don't think their hunger for trophies is there anymore. I'm sorry, I think they just play every game. I think Barcelona actually want to win trophies. Real Madrid's players, they're just playing just for the sake of it. They're not really putting all their effort in. They're not really diverting their attention into, okay, let's win La Liga this year. I'm going to give it everything, every single game. But it's up and down, up and down. But Barcelona, you saw them consistent. Sometimes they fell off. I understand. But they found a way to win when they weren't playing well. So this is the difference. Completely the difference. You understand? So absolutely. Absolutely Barcelona are better than us at the moment. And they deserve the praise also of football fans around the world. They are keeping football alive. They keep football alive because their football is exquisite to watch. PSG's football is exquisite to watch. Liverpool's football at times is really good to watch. You have teams in the world that are keeping football alive. And do you know what? Like I said last year, the perfect Champions League final would have been PSG and Barcelona because it would have been an all-out spectacle of attacking, precise football, and every team in the world should aspire to be like that, including Real Madrid, where we attack just to absolutely batter teams. That's what it is. You understand? So I'm just stating facts here. I'm stating facts. I want Barcelona to lose every game possible. But if they keep on playing like that, then guess what? They won't. They'll be fully on it. And they'll be really, really up for it. You understand? Madrid kills football. We don't kill football, but what we do instead is we try to play this pragmatic style of football where we get the result just for the sake of it, or like the Juventus game in the Club World Cup, where everybody was glazing over. And you think I glazed over Barcelona, but everybody was glazing this Juventus with a 1-0 win. What did I say, guys? Can you, in the chat now, repeat to me what I said after the Juventus game? Because you probably were watching me in my match reaction, and a lot of people did. What did I say after that Juventus game? I'm waiting for people to respond. What did I say after that Juventus game? I said, if we play like that against PSG, we are going to get pumped. That's exactly what I said. Let me repeat that again for you. If we play like that against PSG, we will lose. That's what I said. So, and that is the string of it, because people were glazing over this amazing performance against Juventus. Oh, we were dominant. We were this. What, against a team that sits back? What about a team that actually pushes us on the front end? What about a team that actually closes the gaps to us? What about a team that presses us? Remind you of anyone? PSG? Remind you of anyone? Barcelona? Remind you of anyone? Arsenal as well. Arsenal put us on the front foot. You saw, put themselves on the front foot as well. You saw Miles Lewis-Skelly. You saw Declan Rice really pressing in that midfield area. Skelly absolutely destroying Rodrygo and several times. You saw Vini not in being able to even go one-to-one with Jurrien Timber. This is what happened. You saw Saka pressing. You saw the team pressing. Arsenal, Barcelona, PSG. May I remind you, Real Betis. Real Betis. Don't forget about Real Betis. I'm not just talking about the European elite teams here, the ones that are going to go for the Champions League next year. I'll talk about Real Betis as well. You see how Real Betis played against us? They said, okay, we'll sit back. And then once you lose the ball, counter. Done. Anthony absolutely schooled us. Anthony. Come on, man. You think this is going to be over and done with in 10 games? I hope it is, because if it's not, then, hey, we better win a trophy this year. Like I said. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. PSG absolutely destroyed us. Absolutely. Because we didn't make chances for Arsenal game. Only goal was from Saliba's error. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Mbappe chance that we had in the Emirates. The Mbappe chance that we had at the Emirates. If Mbappe scores that, then so be it. We go 1-0 up. So that is essentially what I'm thinking about. We're thinking about playing the best teams in the Champions League, and we're going to get absolutely destroyed. That's how it is. And you think that Xabi Alonso can override this in a certain amount of games? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Do you know what? I'm actually running this emergency meeting like a very long fan cam. This is what I'm doing. And do you know what? I could do this daily. I could talk about every single fault in this Real Madrid team till the cows come home. Honestly, I can. Because there are so many faults. Drop the pin on this one. Okay? Because another factual breakdown. And I mentioned it on my Galacticos podcast as well with Will. Liabilities in this team. The Real Madrid liabilities in terms of players is as follows. Rodrygo is a liability. He's injury worries. He's consistently strapped up in his leg. Surgeries, all this business. He doesn't look the same player. I'm sorry, he does not look the same player. He may be fit, he may be healthy, but he's not the same player. He's slow, lethargic. He's not really having the same turn of pace in terms of how he can quickly track back to a ball in behind. Like, for example, Guirassy, Dortmund, that same thing, losing his man. His turn, essentially, on the spot is difficult for him. He's finding difficulty in that. Essentially, doesn't look the same player under Xabi Alonso. He's looking weak. He's looking frail. He's looking to cause error at any moment he can. Howson, brilliant. I have nothing to say against Howson. Nothing to say against Howson. The moment, lapse in concentration, pull back, Guirassy, penalty. But that is essentially how it is. Yeah? Another liability. And you can agree with me or not agree with me. Bellingham is also a liability at times. Bellingham is a liability at times. This guy is so slow on the turn. It's unbelievable. His technique is non-existent. I'm sorry to say it, but he has a very limited technique. The only thing that he can do really is just a forward pass, maybe out of the blue, if it's just very open and the opposition team is scattered all over the pitch. Bellingham is a liability. I'm sorry to say that he's technically not good enough. Technically not good enough to play in a Xabi Alonso team. If Xabi Alonso wants to play possession for possession's sake and also with intent to harm the other team, to harm the opposition, to create overloads, then Jude Bellingham is not that guy. He's not. He maybe do his box-to-box duties. He maybe gets down and dirty in some of the tackles. Unfortunately, he is a liability. A big one. Arda Güler, completely opposite. He's nowhere near a liability. He's just technically sound on the ball. That's why I like him so much. He has a very, very good technique about him. Any player, any Real Madrid fan that doesn't agree with me that Arda Güler is a great player, hey, you are seriously mistaken. Seriously mistaken. Yeah? Tchouaméni under Xabi Alonso has become a different beast in the Club World Cup. I'm just going to reserve judgment on Tchouaméni because I didn't really see him do much last year. He wasn't the best last year, but obviously he was playing a lot of centre-back positions. So I'm just going to reserve Tchouaméni judgment. Vini, liability. Sorry. Liability, big time. Probably one of the most biggest players in our team that is fully a liability. Mbappe can be a liability at times. Can be. But if he does turn the screw, then he can really be impactful. Very impactful. Fran Garcia is a liability. He may have played one good game against Dortmund, a different man possessed. But consistently, he is a liability as well, Fran Garcia. That's why maybe we've got Carreras, who probably will also be a liability because I don't rate him at all. Sorry, the signings so far have been decent in terms of Trent, Mastantuono, and I'm thinking Mastantuono, I'm going to go into him a little bit later. Mastantuono probably will fit the role of that right wing if we play that 3-4-2-1 or 4-3-3. But Howson, nowhere near a liability. Trent, I don't think will be a liability, but defensively he may be if we come up against a good time. Do you know what? Trent and his injury scare and everything, not to play against PSG, I tell you what, maybe done him a bit of justice because Kvaratskhelia, I tell you what, Trent would have absolutely had a nightmare. He would have had a nightmare. Yeah. And we need a midfielder desperately, guys. We need a midfielder, ball-playing midfielder. If we don't get it, then we're going to have major problems. We're going to have major problems. Because, yes, I like Arda Güler when he drops into the area, but sometimes he falls a bit short. He falls a bit short in that manner. You know what I mean? Yeah? And Güler's nice vision, but way too weak. He's gaining physicality. Jude's workhorse, but with decent creativity. I don't see Jude have decent creativity. I'm sorry. I don't see him have decent creativity. Trent ducked it because he knew he was going to come up against Kvaratskhelia and Doué. You know how they roam at the front. They just play each other's position. They have so much free roam ability. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Enzo will be a good addition to the team. I think he'll be good. But Stiller is a player that we need. Yeah, we need Angelo Stiller. I think Stiller is a great guy. Okay, guys, we're going to 1 hour mark. We're going to go through super chats. Antoine, not a Madrid fan, but I genuinely do think we're good enough to compete. But unfortunately, the classic Atletico March-April collapse is all too familiar. He's probably Atletico Madrid fan. Absolutely. I think Atletico Madrid, La Liga, they love competing until a certain point, but they completely fall off. I don't know what it is with Simeone's teams, but they don't really have the gusto to go all the way and really do damage. I think they fall apart too quickly. So, I mean, in the middle of the season, they're completely fine. Like, you see them. They're really compact. They're really good defensively. But I think Atletico Madrid are not the team to trouble Real Madrid or Barcelona. Next comment is from Siavash. The only minutes I've seen Madrid press well past year were 15 minutes against Barca in the Copa del Rey final. So they know how to. That's a very good comment, actually. Very good comment, because what I saw in the Copa del Rey is a fight back. That's what I actually wanted to see against PSG. It was a fight. It was a fight to the death. We took the lead. Obviously, before Boza moment again from Rodrygo. But we took the lead, and we were pressing them like crazy. Barcelona didn't know what to do. They had the press in them. They know what to do. They knew how to be organized. But why does it take us to go a goal down before we realize, okay, now we need to start playing? Because yesterday was a perfect example. Goal down, and then Real Madrid tried to get into the game, but obviously we couldn't, because obviously the Boza mistakes from the defenders. But why does it take us to go a goal down before anything happens? What is the problem with Real Madrid? What is the actual problem, guys? Yeah, and it's a major problem. So, Siavash, thank you very much for the comment. And absolutely, the Copa del Rey final, perfect example of a team that knew how to press effectively until we fell apart. Yeah. Stanimir, as a Barca fan, I can say that the coach is not the problem. It is the mentality of the players. They are just lazy and don't like to play as a team and always prefer to stay in a low block. Such a shame. And absolutely, I second this. And as a Barcelona fan, you know that Hansi Flick is completely organized down to a T in terms of what he wants the team to do, how he wants the team to defend, what kind of high line he wants to adopt, what kind of pressing line he is put in towards the players in terms of Koundé, when are you going up? Balde, when are you going up? When are you trying to defend? When is Inigo Martinez pushing up to the halfway line? He knows what he's doing. Every player knows what they're doing. And it gives them a perspective. It gives them perspective on how to play. It gives them a blueprint. We have literally a starting of a blueprint. There's no full blueprint yet. But the way that Barcelona play throughout the whole season as a collective, very enjoyable to watch. Yeah, and that is down to Hansi Flick. So, Xabi Alonso has the starting of a blueprint, but the players, like you said, are also lazy. They are lazy. Hence the title of the team. Yeah? Hence the title of the actual stream. Lazy. Cooking this lazy Madrid team because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. You know what I mean? They don't deserve it. But thank you very much, super chats, obviously, on the very first hour of the mark. We're probably going to go on for about 30 minutes or more. I originally was planning to do a 4-hour stream, but I've got actually work to complete after this as well. So I will be signing out probably after 30, 45 minutes, maybe go on for the 2-hour mark if we can as well, yeah? But obviously, put your comments down below, obviously, in the live stream. Let me know what you're thinking about Real Madrid, anything that you want to discuss about Real Madrid. And the next point I'm going to go into is Alvaro Carreras. This guy, yeah, Benfica proven. Youth player for Real Madrid, obviously Manchester United also. And look, I'm just not sold. I'm not sold at all. I am not sold at all on Alvaro Carreras. This guy, I've seen him again with Benfica, maybe did decently against Barcelona, decently in the Champions League, decently in the Portuguese league, but the situation remains. I don't think he has, technique-wise, anything in him to actually be a productive left-back. left wing back if we're playing a 3 at the back for Real Madrid. He is nothing special. Nothing special at all. And people that are trying to rate him because of playing for Benfica or, you know, his journey and this and that. Oh, a Real Madrid player, let's all support him. Nah, it doesn't wash with me. It doesn't wash with him. Is he better than both of our left backs? Defensively, is he better than Mendy? Debatable. As a left back in a 4, is he better than Mendy? Probably not. Probably not. Is he better maybe as a left wing back than Fran Garcia? Is he faster than Fran Garcia? No. Is he better defensively than Fran Garcia? Potentially yes. Is he better on the attacking front than Fran Garcia? No. So we are literally positioned here where we are looking at a guy that is pretty much our only option because we don't want to slam big bucks down for a world-class left back. We want to go into the route of bringing players through and having them at a relatively early age and then evolving them as players in terms of the system and what Xabi Alonso wants to bring. If Xabi Alonso wants to bring Carreras in, then do you know what? You have my full support. But I don't rate him as a player. I don't rate him. I could see him doing many bozo moments already. The way he holds the ball, the way that he maneuvers in that area is very frantic. And I've already mentioned players that I don't like in that left-back area. Cucurella, for example. Can't stand the geezer. I can't stand him. Honestly, the most frantic, looking like they're doing something, but when they're actually not kind of players. If Alvaro Carreras does exactly the same thing, then, hey, we are going to have major problems. Because if Alonso likes to favour this 3 at the back, obviously with Dean Howson there, maybe he can provide him some support. But Carreras needs to be doing his attacking duties as well. If we're going on this overlapping pattern, if we're trying to obviously play with Vini on the left and trying that overlap, that constant overlap on the left-hand side, literally trying to get another player behind the defensive line in those kind of moments, you know what? We'll see. We'll see. It's something that is frustrating me, that the left-back area is one of the most crucial points of our team because we saw a perfect example against PSG. How Fran Garcia, I'm sorry he was even put in that position because he was coming up against absolute monsters. How Fran Garcia was being put up against certain players, and even Dembele went on the right-hand side as well. You saw Hakimi overlapping as well. It's ridiculous how they're playing in these 1-2 synchronicity, everything, and you expect Fran Garcia to do it. Hey, do you know what? Pray for Fran Garcia if we ever face PSG again. Pray for Carreras if we ever face PSG again, because that's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Barcelona will do the same, because Yamal is absolutely on that job as well. He's on that job for cooking players. So, Carreras against Yamal, decent against Barcelona in the Champions League. I would say decent only. Decent only. But when it came to that home game, then it's a different scenario. Different scenario altogether. Because, do you know what? I'm looking at Yamal. I'm looking at this season. I'm looking at other players as well. And I'm just lost for words. I'm lost for words on how poor we can be and potentially can be, because I only see red. I only see potential downfalls of this team. I see certain problem areas of this team that can really be downfall. The problem area is the defense, obviously, because sometimes we just leave gaps open. And when we're playing a 3 at the back, we leave too much gaps in between the midfield and the defense. The wing back area is going to be a problem because we don't really have a naturally very good defensive wing back. Trent is not, and Carreras better maybe than Fran, but not good overall as a package. So, unfortunately, Carreras is going to be a player that is just going to be shooting just for the sake of it. That's it, really. Guys, can you tell me what he offers? Can you say in the live chat, can you say in the comment section what Carreras offers? Because I actually don't know. I've seen enough of him to know that he's decent. Not mind-blowing. Not Nuno Mendes level. Nowhere near that. Not Balde level. Balde is not the best defensively, but in attack, he offers a lot. But Balde also is decent defenderly. So we can talk about Barcelona, we can talk about PSG's players, we can talk about any team in the world of football. But Miles Lewis-Skelly, perfect example. That is a player I would have loved to see at Real Madrid. I would have loved to see Miles Lewis-Skelly, a left wing back or left back. I think he would have done absolutely sensational. That's a player that I'm looking at as a team and saying, as a manager, look, go and get Miles Lewis-Skelly. You know what I mean? But for me, there is so many holes in this team. So many holes in this team that I just cannot get over. I'm sorry, Vini's one of them. Mbappe on certain occasions is another. Jude Bellingham is another. Rudiger's another. Asensio has a bozo moments. He played decently last year. He played actually very good last year and really filled the boots well of Militao. But under Alonso, he's looking lost. Sorry. He is looking lost. So, yeah. It's a different situation altogether, guys. It's something crazy going on here. And I hope that Carreras can have a fruitful career with Real Madrid. If he comes to here and he plays well, then so be it. You prove me wrong. You prove me wrong as a player. But for me, yeah. Carreras is not the ideal. He's not the ideal player to join this team because I don't actually know what he offers. He's pretty mid. He's mid, and he doesn't scream anything great enough about him that can say, what is the benefit of Carreras joining our team, guys? What's the benefit of him joining? When we have Fran Garcia, yes, we have Mendy as well, who can play in the 4 at the back. But if we're looking for natural left wing backs that we want to play in certain positions, then maybe Carreras is the guy. But God forsakenly, just do your research before you start buying players, because I'm sorry, if he fails, then it's on you. It's on you, Alonso. It's on, obviously, the Perez as well to even make a move. Guys, I'm just lost because we have players like Camavinga who can actually do well at left wing back. I'm looking forward to seeing Camavinga come into this team because at left wing back, Camavinga would absolutely be amazing. He's quick in terms of explosiveness. He knows how to carry the ball. He knows how to play, obviously, with Vini. He knows how to play with a midfield in terms of Jude or Valverde or Ardagula, whoever's going to be in that position, because Ardagula likes to float off on the left-hand side, likes to come in the centre as well. Bellingham likes to float off on the left-hand side. And you have a technically gifted left wing back there in Camavinga, and you decide, okay, cool. Drop the bag on flipping Carreras. Guys, this is absolutely horrendous. It's horrendous decision making. I don't know what to say about it more, honestly. We want to say. But do you know what? If he plays well, then so be it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I second it, guys. I mentioned it, but I second it. Camavinga, absolutely world class. Honestly, on his day, he can be world class. He is so technically amazing. Camavinga. The way he can carry the ball is like it's glued to his feet. And that's what we need in the midfielder. So, I think Camavinga, not his passing range and stuff, but in terms of how the ball is actually glued to his feet, on his day could be one of the best players in the world. But he just needs to prove it, honestly. Sometimes he loses his mental ability to keep on the pitch in terms of playing and keeping the motivation to keep on playing throughout the game. And he's sometimes losing it in certain occasions. But so technically gifted. Honestly, so technically gifted. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to round up a few comments, guys, that have been thrown into the chat as well. Yeah. And Camavinga, he'll be making some elite tackles, but the way he carries the ball is technical. Absolutely. Absolutely. Camavinga has the most talent and potential out of every midfielder in the Real Madrid team. Yes, including Ardagula. I think Camavinga, in terms of his age and his ceiling, can be such a good player. You know what I mean? And I've seen players like that carry the ball in terms of how it's glued to their feet, how they defensively can do. Honestly, defensively, he's nowhere near like a N'Golo Kante or Claude Makelele, but he's dubbed as a defensive midfielder. Don't forget Camavinga. Not defensively, but in terms of carrying the ball, I 100% there because he knows how to glue the ball on his feet that nobody can get off him. And that is the strength that Camavinga offers when you can play in that role as holding or ball playing midfielder or someone who can play in an 8 or someone who can play in a very deep line position in the midfield, then Camavinga is your guy. But as a left wing back, I think he can sincerely do an excellent job also. You see? Absolutely. Start Endrick, striker Mbappe until he commits to play Xabi ball. Yeah. Well, do you know what, Endrick? I don't think he's going to give an opportunity. I think Gonzalo Garcia is absolutely going to be the next prodigy coming through. And do you know what? I'm actually liking this emergency stream, you know. Guys, what are you thinking of the emergency stream? How are you feeling it? How you're feeling me talking for nearly an hour and a half straight? I think it's a very lengthy fan cam. I think that's what it looks like. It's a very lengthy fan cam and just an extension of what I actually feel. Because I'm not going to be... I'll obviously interact with the chat as well. That's what I'm going to be trying to do over time, obviously, during the stream and giving you a lot of content. But this is kind of like my viewpoints on Real Madrid. Where can they improve? What can we do to actually win our next major trophy? The whole point of this emergency stream, the emergency meeting, is how can Real Madrid win their next trophy? That's what it is. What are the weaknesses? Point them out. What are the fans saying? How are they reacting to certain players or certain results or certain issues in this Real Madrid team? And give just a collective effort on how we can do things. You understand? And the chat is absolutely fantastic. Very respectful and a very, very good chat, except for the one who's called me a Barcelona fan in disguise. Yes, guys, I am not a Barcelona fan in disguise. Thank you very much. But that's it. Perfect. Yeah. And just the last thing I wanted to talk about, round off, before we actually sign off the stream. Yeah, we can keep it on going for 1 hour. Next one I want to do is one of those lengthy Liga 8-hour streams. You know what I mean? Night to morning, and see what happens. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. But the last thing I wanted to talk about before I log off, guys, is something very serious. Yeah. And it's in the title, and I've kept it to the last. I think about 75 to 80% of the players in the team are lazy. I think 70 to 80% of Real Madrid players are lazy. They are lazy souls on a football pitch. Yes, against the smaller opportunity, the smaller team, maybe we can do the job because we'll have a lot of control of the ball. We can actually play to our strengths in terms of sometimes using pace to advantage, sometimes using the counter to advantage, sometimes using maybe one touch play here to the advantage when the team sits off us and they don't stress us out. But when you come up against a team that can press so well, we've seen it already, this Club World Cup, and I'm going to mention again PSG, but a team that can press so well, you have problems. Because when you hold on to the ball too long, we saw it for the very first 2 goals, when you hold on the ball for too flipping long, I don't understand it. I'm sorry. As a football player from ground roots, I play semi-pro myself for Salamina FC in Cyprus. I know what football is about. You receive the ball into your feet. 1 touch in terms of control, 1 touch to release. Asensio, I have absolutely no idea what he was doing with the ball against PSG. I'm sorry. It is unacceptable. It's inexcusable what you did against PSG. You receive the ball in your feet. You actually launch it. You launch it to whoever you're going to. You lock on the player and you pass it. That's how you learn football. That's how you play football. Especially in the defense when you don't have no time and you're technically not as sound as the midfielders who maybe can take an extra touch to drag it away from the player, like sometimes Vitinha does. He receives the ball, and then if he sees a player coming right to him, dip of the shoulder, knows what he's doing. But as a defender, you cannot do that. Maybe Howson can do that because on the ball, he's so technically sound. Maybe we just need 3 technically sound defenders because Militao is decent technically on the ball. And I would like to see him play with Howson and see how they work together. and maybe drop Tchouaméni into the back three there. But in this situation, there are so many issues where a player receives it, like Vini, he's cornered by two people, and then guess what? Passes it directly into them. What are you doing? You're too lazy to look up. Are you too lazy to see Mbappe's run or Gonzalo Garcia's run? Are you too lazy? Or are you holding on the ball for too flipping long to make a decision? That's what you're doing. Vini holds on to ball for so flipping long. It's unreal. Why is he the only player that does it? I'm sorry. He's one of the only players in that team. Even Jude Bellingham releases the ball quickly. Vini holds on to the ball for so flipping long. Like, I could go and make a cup of tea, lovely, comfortably, in time, and Vini will still have the ball. Yeah? But the defense is where you do not risk it. If you feel like you're under pressure, clear your lines. Clear your lines. Don't try and maintain possession when you can't. And maybe that is where Xabi Alonso's weakness lies. Because Xabi Alonso wants to maintain possession. He wants to maintain possession at all times. This team needs to be holding possession. Yeah? So, in that mannerism, in these situations, you have to then just apply yourself on the pitch at that time saying, Dembele's pressing me, let me clear. Let me clear my lines. Yeah? And that's how it works. When Kvaratskhelia is pressing me on the right-hand side, if that's the case with Rudiger, clear your lines. Whoever's pressing in that moment. In the second half, when you have ballers like Barcola who wants to come on and really drive at the defense, then clear your lines. But the situation stands as this. You need to have very good ball-playing centre-backs in this current era of football because the press is rapid. The press is organised. And when you're coming up against a team like PSG, team like Barcelona, whatever it's going to be on that case, then we need to be competitive. And the only way we're going to be competitive is by having really sound centre-backs on the ball. Rudiger and Asensio do not cut it, unfortunately. It's not one match. It's many matches I've seen them. I've seen Asensio drop the ball, lose the ball, and then grabbing onto a guy, trying to hold him back because he's completely lost it. He's lost touch of it. He's lost the momentum, trying to get the ball, and then now trying to feed back into the defensive area, and guess where? Lost. Rudiger the same. Over the top ball comes in, doesn't know what he's doing, panic stations kick in, and guess what? I saw that. Barcelona last year. Copa del Rey final. So we are in the situation now where we have pretty much 4 centre-backs. We put Tchouaméni in there, 5 centre-backs that are going to be either first-team starters or going to hold bench. Rudiger, Militao, Hausen, Tchouaméni, and Asensio. And if we bring a youth project through, then so be it. So we have those defenses there. I'm not talking about the youth projects. I'm not talking about bloody anyone in that manner. Yeah? But the situation is this, and it still remains the same, that I see Hausen, Tchouaméni, and Militao maybe becoming the back three that we see in the future. Maybe. You understand? So it's going to be a very difficult ride for the defense. I'm telling you, we're going to have situations where we have these situations like where maybe Hausen and Rudiger playing in the back two. Is Rudiger going to be a liability? Yes, he probably is. With those knees and that surgery, he's going to be a major liability. And it's going to be a major problem for Real Madrid, honestly, especially against teams that like to counter, like, for example, Bilbao, like, for example, Betis, who can be really quick and very decisive on the counter, like, for example, Villarreal, who can hold the ball. Also, Vallecano pretty much outplayed us last year. Pretty much outplayed us in our own ground. Yeah? And they can be really ruthless on the ball as well. Even the smaller teams, smaller than that, even Espanyol can be ruthless. So we need to be ruthless ourselves. Play the best centre-backs. Hopefully Militao is fit. Hopefully Tchouaméni can play there. And hopefully Hausen can play there. Because if we do that, then we have very free, good, comfortable centre-backs. I know Rudiger's down a day. I know he's just no nonsense, which you do need sometimes in a defensive team. But if they cannot be really good in the ball, then there is a big problem, because a lot of teams in La Liga also, some of them like to press, some of them like to sit back. Maybe against the teams that sit back, Rudiger's okay. But against the teams that press, you're going to have problems. You're going to have major problems against that. You understand? Yeah? So hopefully we can settle back into our very good defensive area. Okay? Would you send 60 mil for Konate? Absolutely, I'll get Konate. Konate's not the most technically sound player, but defense, he's decent. He is decent, and I see him as a natural successor to someone maybe like Rudiger, who may be phased out eventually, and then Konate comes in and then obviously takes his place in terms of that right-hand side, you know, and could be work well in that, yeah? Thomas Partey would be good in your field. Oh, I just read that comment. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Omar, hot take. If Mbappe doesn't have enough passion to prove these annoying pundits wrong to shut them up by pressing the defending, what passion will he have against any team exactly? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Mbappe is a passionate player. Eventually, he's a sound player. But for me, like Mbappe sometimes has these bows against, he doesn't do nothing. He doesn't do nothing. Against Arsenal, he did nothing. Did nothing against Arsenal. Against Barcelona, he was decent majority of the time. Pretty much one of our only players actually were really good against Barcelona. But against the elite in Europe, like Liverpool, non-existent. Sorry. But like big teams shut him up big time. You have big defenders who just close him in, don't give him no space to run, and you are sorted against Mbappe big time. Yeah? But guys, I think that's pretty much wrapped up the emergency stream for today. This has been emotional, guys. I love these, mate. I absolutely love these. Let me just read a couple of more chats before we round off at 1 hour 30. Yeah, Conor Bradley pocketed him. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We managed with players who refused to press before, but football has developed. And while you still can't get away with one person who doesn't press, you can't have two on the pitch at the same time. Absolutely. And that is literally the perfect statement to round it off. When Real Madrid press as a team, we need to press as a unit. If we don't know when other people are pressing and we're just making disjointed presses and one-man presses instead of two-man or three-man presses, then it becomes very disjointed. We lose rhythm, we lose concentration, and we lose being a team, essentially, on the day, and we can get beaten. We can get beaten very comfortably, and that was proven with PSG. But guys, first emergency stream is complete. Thank you very much for joining. Make sure if you are obviously watching this on replay and you want to maybe clip up any points, make sure you do that obviously using the clip function on YouTube. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Also comment down below after the stream is ended. Make sure you actually put your comments. I will read them. And then, yeah, we will obviously round this up from the very first emergency stream with Davey. I'm not going to be doing this every single day, but if I can, then I will. If I find time in a day to do it and drop another emergency stream, I will do it until we win a major trophy. That is the bare bones of this kind of stream. Until we win a major trophy, I'm going to carry on doing these streams, guys. But good talk anyway. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for joining on the very first live episode of these emergency meetings. And we'll see you next time on another video. Take care, guys. Adios. A la Madrid. Y nada más. Buenas noches, and we'll see you next time. Take care.